So whenever you are speaking or finding an example of inheritance, always make sure there is one stage which has been upgraded. Okay, not only in the perspective of varieties, you should also see in the perspective of upgradation. For example, one example which I can tell apart from yours perspection is nothing but your mobile phone. How does a mobile phone becomes an example of your inheritance? After me telling this mobile phone is an example of inheritance, how does it becomes an example for inheritance? Okay. So now tell me what type of mobile phone do we have now?
Smartphone.
Smartphone. Okay, the Android version, like it's basically the simpler term is smartphone. Now tell me before this, what type of mobile we had?
Keypad.
Keypad type mobile, correct? Now tell me, we'll go from the earlier version so it is easy to understand. Now tell me, in your keypad mobile, what all features we had? The question is very simple, you can unmute and speak also. We were using the keypad mobile phone for calling, for FM, calculator, maybe not mostly for cameras. Do not tell me what all options we had, but tell me for which all we used it. We were majorly using for calling, messaging, games, maybe the basic level games. Can we consolidate in such a format? Yeah. So basic level games were available in your keypad mobiles. So can we consolidate saying that we had a keypad mobile phone, and even though we had some n number of options over there, we were mostly using it for calling, we were using it for messaging, and we are using it for basic games, maybe touch or other features like the FM. Yes, previously FM calculator, these were there. Okay, good. Now tell me, out of this, how many features were carry forwarded for your Android mobiles? I mean the smartphone. So the now question is, out of the basic keypad mobile features, how many features or what all features were carry forwarded to your smartphones? Calls, messages, okay.
Compact size.
Size of your mobile phone, okay. All the features maybe, okay, good. Now tell me, adding on to all the keypad features, what all new features did we get in your Android mobiles? The smartphone one.
Camera.
Yes. So
Internet.
first, let us go one by one. Okay. Even though in your keypad mobile you had cameras, the pixel quality was less. We might be using that camera to capture pictures, but we are mostly not reliable on that. We were reliable on the digital cameras. But once this smartphone came into the picture, how many, like it's not only questioning to you, in general, in reality, how many of them or how many of us are using digital cameras to capture images in a frequent basis? Is that less or more? It is less, right? So this mobile phone initially was identified for a purpose, but added on, the purpose got increased. So cameras, or for capturing images, we started using the one feature called camera in our mobile phone in our mobile phone instead of your digital cameras. Similarly, tell me which all features were added, or which all the purposes were added on or relied on the mobile phones. Camera was one. Apart from that,
RAM.
anything?
RAM.
Sorry?
RAM.
RAM. Okay, the size plays a major role. In our previous case, the keypad or the type mobile which we are using, we were not using for the storage. But right now, we are using our mobile phone for storage also. Good. GPS, yes, the keypad mobile. We were not reliable for the location tracking, but nowadays we were able to do that using our mobile phones. Memory card, extra memory we were able to add it. Okay. Screenshot. Okay. You can also think about a feature which was being upgraded in your smartphones, like how camera was upgraded. Something similar. Screen recording. Okay.
Battery.
Battery. Okay.
Storage.
The most important thing for which we are reliable on mobile phones nowadays,
Internet.
internet. Correct. Previously, how are we using internet? Do we use our keypad mobiles, or we go for browsing centers, or they would have gone for browsing centers? What is your idea?
We would have went to cyber cafes.
Yes, correct. So, depending on the generation which we are, there is an upgradation in the mobile phones which we are using. Previously, even if you would have noticed this minute change, previously, few years back, we would have come across with a scheme saying monthly 1.5 GB, monthly 2 GB. Correct? But nowadays, what happens in a daily basis 1.5 and 2 GB, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
This is also an upgradation. So, basically speaking, inheritance is a concept which is going to take the previous version or the previously available one. Adding on, you can add your the current requirement also. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. So this is about when we speak about keypad mobile or Android mobile, smart mobile, we have a parent class saying mobile phone, which will have certain features saying like your keypads. I mean, the numbers will be available. Basically, now it got changed into touch screen. These are the upgradations which we see. So this is one example. Similarly, can you tell me one more example alone? With that note, we'll move on for the technical understanding. Any such examples where we saw an upgradation specifically? Okay, I could see few examples like social media, wired speakers to wireless, battery, using solar panels in remote vehicles, fast charging. Good. So I wanted you to think in this perspective, apart from the regular parent-child relationship, son, father, grandfather, or siblings, parents. So this is usual. Please don't stick on to that. Try finding or think about something in a different perspective. Okay, now we'll technically understand about the types. Okay, so now let me share my screen of my Eclipse. And I hope it is visible. Yes. And I'm creating a Java project. It's going to be day 5. Okay. In which I'm going to create a package. You guys are going to tell me the name for my package. So we have already completed the package session. So from now on, you should start creating your packages whenever you are working in a project. Clear? What should be my package name? Package 1. Okay. See, always understand it's not a compulsion you should go with package 1. You can give some relevant name also. I'm giving com.cg. And we are going to speak about inheritance, right? So let me say inheritance itself. Or else if you are going to create a separate package for the types, then I'll say single inheritance. Okay, so do not go generalized name, giving generalized name, give some specific names, com.cg. Single inheritance. Clear? Is that clear for everyone? Okay, great, good. So now to understand about the concept of inheritance, I am going to create an example. I have come up with an example for which we are going to create the classes and we are going to work on. So the example which I have taken to make sure you understand the concept of inheritance, single inheritance is nothing but the example of citizen and student. So now tell me what is the parent class and what is the child class here? Which is the parent and which is child? I'm going to create, as per my example, I'm creating a class, citizen. I'm creating another class, student. Now, which is your parent class and which is your child class?
It is parent class. Student.
Okay.
Student. Child class.
Okay. Others?
Student is the child class.
Student is a child and citizen is your parent. Then, how do you technically inform the same? How do we say that citizen is your parent and student is your child? Technically, how do we tell? Okay. So, whenever you wanted to tell which is your parent, which is your child, okay, you should say the child extends parent. So, in this manner, the class which is after your extends become your parent, before your extends becomes your child. Clear? See, if you are going to be silent like this for each and every question, we are going to consume much more time to complete the concept. Okay, so good. Now, is there any different names for parent and child classes? Any other name?
Super class and subclass.
Super class and subclasses. Super. Any other combination?
Base class.
Base class and your derived class. Okay, so your parent class is otherwise called as base class or super class. Your child class is otherwise called as derived class or subclasses. which is parent and the child classes. Good. Now, when we speak about citizen, what all input should we consider receiving from the citizen? I'll first get to know the name of the citizen. And whenever you are creating any variable in your parent class, make sure that variable is applicable for both parent and child. Citizen has a name, student also has a name. So if I keep it in parent, both can access it. Similarly, a citizen will have Aadhaar number. Student will also have an Aadhaar number. Next, citizen will have address. Student will also have an address. Citizen will have phone number. Student will also have a phone number. Now, when we speak about the variables of the student, I will say a student will have roll number. Will every citizen have roll number?
No.
No.
No. Only the citizens who are in the age of either the schooling or the college age category will have the roll number. So, I'm keeping the roll number in my student class. Next, I'll consider the student as a college student. So, I'll say college name. Okay, now these are the variables in which we are going to work on. Whenever you are using a private access modifier as your accessibility, how do you access these variables? I hope I have already told you this. How do we access it?
By creating an object.
Okay, by creating an object, you can initialize it. But if it is private, Pratik is right. It's by using, yes, getters and setters, as Keetana mentioned. So it is getters and setters. How do you generate getters and setters? Place your cursor inside your citizen class. Do a right click. Go to source. You will find generate getters and setters. And here you will select all and give a generate. So you'll be able to see the generation of your getters and setters. Over here, similarly, you will have to generate getters and setters. Done. Next, what all is required in your class? Generally, you have your variables, you have your getters and setters. Next, it is expected to have constructors also. So over here, let me generate a constructor. Next, argumented one. Done. Similarly, for your child also, okay, done. Great. Then what do we have to do it?
Object creation.
Object creation. Okay. That I will create a class and I'll say single inheritance demo, which has public static void main. Okay. Now, for which class should I create object?
Student.
Student. Okay. So let me create student. S1 is equal to new student. Done. Next, how do I initialize values for my variables? Can I say S1 dot Getter of what? Do I find only the variables of student or also the variables of the citizen?
Both.
Both. Okay, for example, I'll first go with the name. Yeah, name. Anyone wants to give your infos for this? Any volunteers? No one? See, just your name with your some random numbers. You can just tell me, not even the exact info. Someone is trying to speak, but I couldn't hear. It's your voice is breaking.
Kirtana.
Kirtana. Okay. Kirtana. Okay. Sorry, it should be setter, right? Set name. Kirtana. Next. What was the one? Aadhar. So let me give some random. And this was a string. Input. So I'll give string. Next. Next you had address. Kitna, maybe you can tell a city name.
Bangalore.
Bangalore. Okay. And I'll go with phone number. I'll say some random numbers. And this is a long value. So I'm giving L at the end. So these are your parent variables followed with child 1. Kirtana, roll number?
12.
Your college name in short.
AVK College.
KVJ. Okay, let it be. Okay, done. Now, if I wanted to print this student information, I mean the Kirtana's information, how do I do it? How do I do it? What should I print it? I should use printing statement. That is very obvious. What should I give inside printing statement so that I get Kirtana's information? I believe every one of you are part of the classes and object session, and it's very sad to see no response. Yes, one. Okay. Now, when I give S1s, every one of you are very sure that we are getting output? Sure? Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
let me run the code. What is our output? Did we get Kirtana's information? I mean, the student one information?
No.
No. Why?
We should get the
You should get what?
we
Get
should use
method we have to
getter,
call.
getter method we have to use, and then we have to get
Okay. You mean to say yes1 dot get again get name. Where is my get name? I should call like this one by one. I should write these many printing statement. And instead of name, it is Aadhar number, and here it is address, phone number, roll number, college name. You mean to say this? Yes, no? Okay. Yes, we get our answer. But do we get the student one information or we get a list of information? Can you give me an assurance? See, without looking into this printing statement, if you just look into this console, what will you tell? What is this output? Will you be able to understand? Okay, the student name is Keertana, followed with this is Aadhar, address, phone number, roll number, college. Will you understand it in a right manner? No. Then what should we do? This is one approach, yes, but not an effective one. But which is the right and effective one?
We have to create a method in the class.
Which class?
Student,
Student, okay. What is the method name?
like anything we can that is going to print the details like display.
Okay, so listen everyone. I believe every one of you will remember the concept of toString. Did I tell you? None of you could remember? Okay, understand here, whenever you are creating an object, instead of giving or calling your inputs in this fashion, if you just wanted to give, tell me, I'm very sure I would have asked this question. When I wanted to get Keertana's information, will I call Keertana and will I ask Keertana, what is your name? What is your Aadhar number? What is your address? What is your phone number? Or will I ask her, Keertana, can you send your basic details? Which is the right one, practically speaking?
Details.
Basic details, correct? Similarly, technically, how will you achieve it? Which is giving me a cumulative answer of Keertana, the object reference of S1. When I print this S1, we are not getting output because S1 is what type of variable? It is student type. We want informations of the student. This is an object reference pointing to an object. That is where you get your object reference value. So what should you do is go for your respective class and generate toString method, which will have your fields of your child and also the fields of your parent also. You can please do select it so that now see when I run the code, did I get the complete information? The order depends on the order which you select. What is my order here? I have told first roll number, so I'm getting the roll number first. Next college name, next the name of the student, the Aadhar number and the address and the phone number. Finally, I have chosen class, so it tells me it is of class of which type. Is that clear for everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Always, whenever you are in need of getting one object inputs in a collective manner, make sure the respective class has the toString method. Now here, I do not want it to select. Okay, I do not want it to have my get name Aadhar here. I just wanted roll number and college name. Now, even though S1 is having the parent information, it is giving me only the child. How do I achieve it? Go to your parent one and in parent, generate your toString. Now what happens? See here, internally, you are not able to get connected. Similarly, this is first question to you. Similarly, this is not an effective approach again. Okay, now here, I am not supposed to pass inputs like this. I wanted to pass input through constructor. Now tell me the student constructor has what all arguments? Only the roll number and college name, correct? So here, I'll be allowed to give roll number and college name. Will I be allowed to give the name of the student, Aadhar number? What do you think? No. Then how is it possible? How do you make it possible? How do you make it possible is here while generating your constructor. Okay, so make sure you generate it using from superclass. So could you see there is a difference in constructor? Yes, no? What was a constructor using your fields? I'm generating both. This is your constructor using fields. This is constructor using superclass. Which is your superclass? Which is your superclass in this example?
Citizen.
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 So it is creating the constructor of student with the parameters of your superclass. After that, to minimize the number of lines of code, I'm combining both. I'll keep here this. Okay, next I will give this printing over here. Is that clear? This is the right way to create your constructors in your inheritance concept. Is that everyone clear? How do you create constructors in your inheritance concept? Okay, good. Now coming back to your toString. So irrespective of you creating toString in your parent and toString in your child, you have to make sure you have the inherited part in your toString of your child. So do a right click, go toString. You can select selectively also get name, Aadhaar, address, phone number. And now if you see automatically you get a suggestion, you have to add arguments which matches. So here I'll be telling what was the order. First was the name. So I'll say Kirtana. Followed with Aadhaar number. Next was the city, Bangalore. Next was the mobile number. It was not string, right? A long value. Next comes the roll number. Next comes the college name. Clear? Now if you run your code, you get your output. So here, where comes the concept of single inheritance? Here in your constructor, when I say generate constructor using superclass, did it automatically take the variables of the citizen class? Yes, no? Yes, no? Yes, there came the concept of inheritance. Secondly, whenever I say get Aadhaar number, it is available where? It is in your citizen class only. So it is automatically fetching it. And secondly, whenever you are manually giving it, even though the reference and the point object is student, I'm able to get the variables of my citizen also. There comes the concept of inheritance. So the concept of inheritance remains the same all over the types of inheritance. Single inheritance, how do we say? We have one child class and one parent class. Then we call that inheritance as your single inheritance. Is everyone clear with single inheritance? If yes, please do raise up your hand. I combined the concept of single inheritance and the concept of inheritance in the same example. People are clear alone, raise up your hand. Out of 19 to 20 participants, only 13 of you have raised up your hand. What about others? Okay, so you can please lower down your hands. The next type of inheritance which we are going to see is going to be multi-level inheritance. Okay, So what will I do? I will create a package saying multi-level com.cg. It should be in lowercase com.cg dot multi-level inheritance. Okay, so let me close all the classes. And here, to understand the example of multi-level inheritance, I'm taking the example of country, state. You guys are going to tell me what is the relationship between these, and city. Okay, now tell me what is the relation. First of all, tell me how many or what is the relationship for your multi-level inheritance. What do you have in multi-level inheritance?
Two base classes, one child class.
Okay, good. So now tell me, how should I achieve multi-level here? Which should extend what?
City should extend country and state.
City should extend country and state. You mean to say this?
Yes.
Okay. We are getting an error.
State should extend country and city should extend state.
Okay. State should extend country.
Country.
Okay. And city should extend
No,
state.
state.
Is it right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So first of all, understand multi-level inheritance means there will be three classes, at least three classes. Okay. So now state is the child of country. City is the child of state. Okay. So this is your first base class. I mean, country is the super base class. Followed with state is the base of your city alone. I mean, parent of your city. And city becomes the child of your state. There is a connection between all the three classes. This is hierarchical. Clear for everyone. Do not get confused with multiple and multi-level. Both are different. Clear? Okay, good. Now tell me, what should I create inside my country, which is common for state and city? Okay. So I'll say country name, because we have so many countries, we should be aware like what is the name of your country. Next, I am creating capital. So every state has a capital and every city also somewhere connected to capital, correct? Not directly, also indirectly in a chain process, you have capital, correct? Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay. I'm generating getters and setters. Next, I'm generating toString. Again, generation of constructor is our choice. If you want, you can generate it, not a problem. If you wish to give inputs directly, don't generate. If you wish to give inputs using constructors, then generate. Okay. Now, similarly, when it comes to state, what all variables we have to create?
State name.
State name. Okay. Next. Can I create one variable saying language, because there will be a difference in language with respect to state? Yes. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Moving on. More than sufficient. I will be generating getters and setters. And I will generate toString. And make sure you have inherited of your parent, which is country. Next, coming to city. So as usual, you will have city name. Next, any specific variable. In city, can we say a particular area? To which area do you belong to? Can we say that? When you say Bangalore, yes, in Bangalore, which area do you belong? We can ask the specific question. So for this, I am generating getters and setters. Done. So this is multi-level. Okay, now I'll create your main class. I'll create a class. Now tell me, for which class should I create an object?
City.
City, because that is the class which connects the rest. When you create object for your state, you can access the variables of the state and country. When you create object for country, you can access only country. But when you create object for city, you can access city and its parent, which is state. So you can access the state, and state's parent is country. So you can access country also. This is how we travel. So over here, I will create object for city. City C is equal to new city. And when I try getting or initializing value, could you see all the variables? You have the variables of city, you have the variables of country, and you have the variables of state. Clear? This is multi-level. So I believe every one of you know how to initialize your values. So I'm not going into that now. You can give a try. Now here comes the next type of inheritance. What is that? It is hierarchical inheritance. Form.cg.hierarchical inheritance. Now, can you guys come up with any example for hierarchical? First of all, hierarchical in the sense you will have one parent which will have more than one child, because I have seen people telling one parent with the two child. No, one parent with more than one child. You can have two child, you can have three child. It should be more than one. Clear? So tell me any example.
Animal is a parent child, and dogs, cats.
Okay,
and all
good.
the-
Yes. Good try. Others? Okay. So let me. Okay, vehicle, air, water, land. Okay. Good. So to make it more simpler and easy for you to understand, for every one of you to understand, I'm creating few classes. Tell me what should be the relationship. Person, student, employee. What is the relationship? How to achieve hierarchical inheritance over here? Which should extend what?
Person should be extended with student and employee will extend person.
Okay. Can you repeat?
Student and employee will extend person.
Okay. You mean to say student extends person and employee extends person. Right? Others?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Others? Okay, good. So now here comes your question. Tell me such informations which are common for student and employee. Don't think in
Name,
higher
age,
level. Okay,
gender.
okay. So first I got age, I guess. Int age, then string gender. Okay. Now I'll generate getters and setters. When it comes to inherited methods of parent, you do have which is going to be class, hash code, and toasting, which we'll see in our upcoming session. Okay. So right now you get only the parent variables. Next, information which is relevant only for the student.
Roll number.
Roll number, int roll number. Okay. Next,
School name.
name of the student. Okay. Student. When I just say name, it again comes into person, right? So let me say student name, or else a better one would be the name. But when you give in parent class, what are we trying to give? We may get a confusion. Okay, student name. More than sufficient. Now I'll generate getters and setters. Done. Next, you do generate toString. In your inherited, right now you will have your person getters. So done. Next, coming back to employee.
मम्मा अकेले अकेले सुन ली कहानी अकेले अकेले सुन ली और कौन कौन आपने सुन ली कहाँ
What all inputs we get for employee?
ये आपने
Employee ID, salary.
आप बनाइए
Employee ID, salary. Okay.
ये आपने बना सकते
I say EMP
हैं
ID,
सो देती है मुझे
string, salary. Okay. I'll be generating getters and setters. If you wanted to add any other variable, you can please do let me know, not a problem.
Salary will be number. Right?
Sorry, your voice is not that clear.
Salary will be number, right?
Yeah, okay. Let me give to be float, more appropriate. So here, float, and over here, float. Yes, done. Now, here I'll be creating an object, I mean the main class. So I'll say hierarchical inheritance demo. Okay, for which class should I create object?
Any of the class from person and student.
Yeah, if you need person information, create object of person. If you need student information, object of student. I'll say student S1 is equal to new student. Okay, now here, when you try accessing the variables, now which all information you could access? You could access the person information, then you could access only the student information. Could you access the employee one? Yes, no?
No.
No. So this is hierarchical inheritance. Similarly, when I create object of employee, E1 is equal to new employee. E1 dot set. You could see person and then employees alone. So, respective to your requirement, if you want employee information, create object of it so that in turn you get the person information and the employee information. The student and the employee, student and the person information. So this is hierarchical. So multi-level means you have at least 3 classes. So first one would be a super class, I mean super parent class or super base class, which you can say, or super class. So the second one would be the child of your super or the super of your upcoming child. That relationship you maintain. Hierarchical means one parent with more than one child. Okay, so now the left out type of inheritance is, what is the left out type?
Multiple.
Multiple. So do we have or can we achieve multiple inheritance over here?
Through interfaces.
Through interface we can achieve. First we'll understand why is it not possible over here. I will create a single class since it is not going to help us for the direct implementation. Multiple inheritance demo, which has public static void main. Okay, so let me close all of the classes. So let me say you have a class called dad, a simple example which you can understand, easy to understand. You'll have a class called mom and you'll have a class called you. Now, you acquire the properties and behaviors from your dad and mom, correct? Yes or no?
Yes.
So, I say you extends dad and mom. So, this syntax itself is not allowed in Java. The reason is, I'll give you a small example. Does everyone know the meaning of the word snoring? English word snoring. Yes. Others? Does everyone know? Okay. So let's imagine you are having the habit of snoring, and we generally know we get the behaviors and the habits from our parent. So you go and check your dad and you ask your dad, do you have the habit of snoring? Then your dad comes up with an answer, I have the habit of snoring. Next, for a second verification, you do go and ask your mom too. You say, or you ask, do you have the habit of snoring? You get an answer, I have the habit of snoring. Done. Now let's imagine that the syntax is allowed in Java. Now, what would you do? You create object for you, and when I say, or when I wanted to call the snoring method, it tells the method inside which class? Mention. So tell me, dad class. But can we give an assurance that you got the habit of snoring only from dad? Because your mom too have the habit, right? How could you give an 100% answer? Is it possible? No, you are not able to give an. You might have got from dad. You might have got from mom. You might have got from both of them. There are these many possibilities, correct? How many of you agree with this? In that case, does that only Kirtana agrees? Raise up your hands, people who agree. You might got from dad, mom, or both. Right? So in that case, how does your compiler will decide that you got from your dad alone? That is not possible. Okay, so that is why this is this is going to give us a confusion. So if someone asks you why multiple inheritance is not supported in Java through classes, then your answer should be because of ambiguity issue. What is the meaning of ambiguity? What is the meaning of ambiguity?
Confusion arising because of the same meaning of a.
Yes. So there comes a similar scenario which is creating a confusion. Okay. So that is why the syntax itself is not added in Java and the achievement is through interfaces. So during the discussion of interface, I'll tell you how do we achieve multiple inheritance through interface. Is everyone clear why multiple inheritance is not supported in Java through classes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So here comes the end of your inheritance concept. Okay, good. So with this note, we'll wind up our tech discussion for the day, and you can practice the same and commit it to your GitHub. So on a daily basis, if you commit it, it's easy for you to keep a track